Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL Podcast.
It's PUCL! PUCL! It's PUCL! PUCL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PUCL! PUCL.
And welcome to another episode of the PUCL Podcast. I am your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my spectacular co-hosts who are not as congested as I am. We've got the one and only Lord Seth Vilo.
Hello, hello. Not congested at all. Hooray!
Good for you. Good for you. It must feel wonderful over there.
Yeah, it kind of does. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. And then we've, of course, got the wonderful, as always, Sharkfinnagen.
Hello, hello. On and off congested, but I'm vibing.
Yeah.
Am I better than both of you?
I think so for
Theories
once.
say. For what?
At least in the health department, sure.
Okay,
you get to
fair.
be.
Yeah. Welcome to the PUCL Podcast, by the way. PUCL, of course, standing for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything in the trading card, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. I am happy to be back in the chair. We were off last week because of a series of people being unavailable, including myself and Seth, who went to Fort Wayne, so that was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Which at least y'all have something to talk about there, about how
Heck
the competitive was there.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of TCG...
Even though the format's different, but... Or actually, no, the format was the new one.
Oh, for VGC, you mean?
Yeah. You got to see, at least potentially see some of the streams going on there.
We did not, because Seth and I were both... We had to play until round 9.
We were busy being too good to drop, but not good enough to get points.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll take it because it's like...
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of regional performance for TCG, it was the best I've done, which was nice.
Yeah. There were
That's
like
great.
1,150 people, I think, in our age division in Masters, and
Yeah.
you came in 303rd, right?
Yeah, and you were only like 350 or something?
I was like 376, I think.
Yeah, you weren't too
not
far
bad.
behind. You weren't too far
So it's
behind.
basically on tiebreakers, which that's fine. No, that's
Well,
great.
It kind of... I think I was like... I technically had like one more point than Seth, but that was just because of the way like ties shook out.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you play the TCG, I don't know, you just expect to tie 8 of your rounds. And
Yeah, you really do.
you just expect to tie 8 of your rounds, and especially since like we were playing Gudra we were playing like the Gudra deck, it was like real bad because
We're naturally a slower deck, yeah.
yeah, we were just a slower deck. Granted, I think we were faster than some. Like I will name 2 decks that were slower than ours. One was Reggie's and the other one was Lost Box.
Yeah, and it depends on the player too and experience.
Yes.
And a lot of the folks that I was seeing, I know you saw a couple too. A lot of them, like, this is their first in-person thing, which is awesome because that means that the whole entire scene and community and everything is growing, and hopefully locals can kind of foster that.
Yeah, I was telling you guys before the show, like, I'm absolutely terrified of this, actually.
Yeah.
Or at least the first one.
The first one's going to be bad. Because the first one is going to be, everybody's going to go, oh my gosh, I've missed locals, and we're going to have locals like half the size of a regionals.
Heck yeah.
For 15 championship points.
I'm excited.
I'm terrified. I'm absolutely like, I want to go, but at the same time, I'm like, do I really just want to go slog through all of these people? Because it's not, I don't know. Like, what's worst about locals is if you go to League, you end up seeing the same people all of the time. And it turns out a lot of those people would just play one deck all of the time. And a lot of them, it's their pet deck. And they play like cards that are a little bit off that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah,
and you're just like, I just don't want to deal with this because it's not a real meta, because I'm going to tech this because I know this guy's going to play this. And
it's the difference between like big regional and local scene. Yeah.
But I mean, it's good to understand the hows and the whys, and you know, maybe you can just use the one deck, like a good generic one, online when you're practicing, and then
it does make it very difficult to practice.
For local, you make your modified one when you know you're going to beat up on the one person with that pet card.
Nonetheless, it's exciting to see it coming back. I'm really hyped for it.
No, I am excited to be able to do it, because this was the thing I was complaining about after Arlington, right?
Right.
Is that you like, I'm not so much excited for like the opportunity to get points or anything. One, I am also just excited to see like a way to gauge how I'm doing personally more regularly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was really cool to see the improvement between November and I guess April.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can definitely feel the difference, right?
Yeah.
I was even telling you because people don't like the TCG talk on the show anyway, but I've been playing regularly ever since anyway. And just having a time. And I've been noticing that like I've been improving because I've been winning locals, like very like leagues, not like real
heck yeah, dude,
cups or anything. You know, I've been winning those like semi regularly. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I becoming like a decent player again?
Am I okay at this?
Well, then like I started playing live again after a while, and I started I was getting stuck on the ladder though. I was getting stuck on the ladder in December. And I noticed when I got back on it, like I wasn't getting stuck on the ladder. Like I was moving up and up and up. And I remember I DM'd Seth and I go, I don't know if the people on live are getting worse or if I'm getting better.
That's usually, well, I mean, we'll see. Because, I mean, I've actually finally started playing live.
Ooh.
Oh, man. We're suckering everybody into the cards. I mean, this is an episode about the VGC, but
yeah, I mean, I was on the TCG episode a couple weeks back, and we were talking about the new sets and whatnot, and I was like, that Arcanine EX potential like deck that I found was like that had some, you know, that looked kind of fun, and that was literally the first deck that when the Scarlet and Violet went live on TCG that like. They gave you most of that. The only things you really have to kind of set up on is like maybe a few extra things, like if you want the Armor Rouge engine to help fuel your cards in there, and then Entei V just so that you have some actually like good Pokemon to start the game with. And I've been doing pretty good right now with it. I've been quite like that deck is a lot of fun, and it's actually pretty consistent.
One of us. One of us. So
I just been running that.
I mean, I like playing VGC too, though this is like a weird meta. I don't know, like
I'm excited for this.
Ever since the opening of ever since Gen 8 really, like VGC has been really hard to wrap my head around. I think this one's still better because Incineroar didn't come back literally after like 2 months. Oh my gosh. Please don't. You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me, Game Freak, if you bring Incineroar back.
I don't know. I don't know if... I guess, yeah, no, it's still going to be good.
Okay.
It won't be as good. It will still be good. That's the problem. I can't... I'm trying to say it's not good, but no, it's still going to be good.
I've played a lot of VGC this week just to kind of wrap my head around, like, where everything was. Nice. I didn't do well, but it's... no. But that's just because, one, I haven't been in the game for long enough to be like, yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen. I can't really predict stuff anymore right off the bat. I'm sure I could. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, give me a week, and I'll be riding the bike again. But
yeah,
it's definitely a different ball game because there's so many. Like Gen 9 specifically is just like there are so many different toys that are fun to play. But this all came back,
and even the old toys get new tricks with Terra, giving them
exactly
mixing and matching what's going on.
I'm actually really happy with the way that Terra is utilized here. It's almost like in terms of a mechanic that, or quote unquote gimmick that is good for the game. I think Terra is honestly one of the best ones. Like Z moves, let's like go put those in the trash. Those were terrible, but. And like Dynamax was good and fun, but it was essentially a requirement for every team. You had to Dynamax.
Oh yeah.
Like you were 95% going to Dynamax in every game. And in Terra, it's like, yeah, I could Terra. I don't know if I need to, but I could.
The mind games of Terra do a lot, and there's so many ways you can Terra, both offensively and defensively, that it gives you. There's a lot more play that I think is exciting, that at least allows things to consistently evolve.
Yeah.
Because you can easily just like, oh, you have this fragile lead Pokemon. I'm going to make it Terra Ghost now so you can't fake it out. And then I can just bop you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's been a good time.
Or I can just instead go make it super offensive. Or I can just go resist my counterattack, whatever. There's so many little things you can do with these Pokemon, which is great. And there's never a wrong option.
Yeah, I've been having a good time getting back into it. Yeah, honestly, whenever I Terra, I never feel like I made the wrong play. You know what I mean? I never feel like, oh man, I threw it because I Terra'd. I've definitely thrown it for other reasons.
Yeah, I think there's a few times you can Terra, slightly wrong, but, generally, I don't think there's really, there's not a bad reason to be most of these Terra types, and
yes,
when you do it, it just depends on what you think could happen. If you get it wrong, it's just because you predicted wrong, but it's more of an overall thing, not necessarily I shouldn't have Terra'd this right away. I should have Terra'd something else. No, it's just more of just bad predict.
Yeah.
Which that happens.
I mean, we'll get into it some more later, but...
Oh, yeah. We'll get into this detail.
We've got a whole topic about it.
What? Mm-hmm. Who would have thought, Seth? Who would have thought? All right. Well, I guess that's a good enough transition as any. We've got some news to talk about, so let's go talk about some news and cue that epic music.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
Welcome to the news. In the news, we've got a few things. First of all, for a gift that nobody asked for, you can go to GameStop at the US to celebrate the release of Scarlet and Violet TCG, and you can get Flying Lechonk. Wow.
I'll shop at GameStop again when pigs fly. Oh, well, have we got the deal for you?
Oh, boy. I think they're also giving out a Lechonk card with a GameStop stamp. I feel like that lowers the value of the card. Right? If you go to Best Buy, Shutter, you can get a Scarlet and Violet stamp Lechonk as well.
Yeah, it's weird.
Actually, is it?
The good news is these aren't
GameStop. What the heck?
Yeah, I'm telling you. And it's terrible because the one that's at Best Buy isn't Best Buy stamped.
It's Scarlet Violet.
Scarlet Violet, the proper Scarlet Violet set logo stamp, which I think is fine. That looks better than the GameStop.
It's just an aesthetic thing. I think the GameStop logo is literally just the red GameStop stamped on there, and it just looks weird with it.
It looks bad.
Not having some sort of background to kind of make it clear that it's a stamp. It just looks
at least Lechonk is a playable card because Oinkologne is not that bad of a card. You can use it in watch it win a regional. Watch it. Great.
I think there's a chance it can win a regional, but that's an upward fight. Before Oinkologne X wins a regional, it's gonna be Miraidon.
Yeah. I'm with you there. I
don't know which one's more playable, though. Which one is it? Which one would you play? Would you play the GameStop one that has repelling odor as an attack?
Absolutely.
Or
I don't know the difference.
The Best Buy one was 70 HP.
There's a third one, though, too. This set...
There is another?
Scarlet and Violet, in terms of the Pokemon in it, I learned this because I let my wife collect the cards this time. Is there are 3 of so many Pokemon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do not need them.
There's 2 Charcadets, and
there are 2 Charcadets. There are 3 Flittle. There are.
I remember this at the kitchen table. Which number are you missing?
There are 3. There are 2 Smoliv. There's 2 Wattrel. There's 3 Lechonk. This set is just artificially large. Lechonk has 3 cards though, and I think both of the ones that are being given out as quote unquote promos, because they're not really promos, are both the bad ones. I think I have to double check.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. I don't think they're bad. I think the GameStop one at least gives you an attack if you have to throw an energy on it. The other one has just HP, which is sometimes you just need the higher HP one because you don't want it to die.
Yeah, no, you probably, so if it were me, I would probably run the 60 HP one that neither of them are giving out, because it has collect.
You run
because
that
it has
one.
collect.
You run that one. Yeah,
that's
no, they
the one
gave
I
you the
would
bad
run.
ones. God.
I would run the one that neither of them are giving you. But that's just me. Okay, but either way.
Fun times. All right. Oh,
What else is happening?
Pokemon Stadium's coming out on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass starting on the 12th, and they very clearly state you cannot import Pokemon into this. So it is literally just for the mini games and nothing else.
you could rental Pokemon Speed and just like play through it. And I think the rental Pokemon are fun. I mean, obviously it's not yours, but I play with them a lot.
You will hurt yourself. I think
I've done it. I legit have done it with the rentals, going through and beating all the cups or most of the cups.
It is very difficult.
It is,
but you can do it. It is very difficult though.
Mm-hmm.
I think using your own
maybe
Pokemon
a potential stream idea if I have time soon. Who knows?
Yeah, I am 100% going to do it on the N64 until there is, and this is something that exists. I kid you not. There is transfer pack like data in the emulator that they're using for NSO.
We'll see if and when things happen.
No. So it's there. I just assume what's going to happen is like this is going to come out, and then maybe around like September they're going to be like Red and Blue are coming to the Virtual Console, or it's not the Virtual Console, NSO.
Maybe maybe that'll be their Christmas or their winter game.
I don't know. Like I'm telling, like I haven't paid for the NSO expansion. I haven't paid for the expansion pass, right? Because it's kind of it's an upcharge, like a crazy upcharge. And
yeah, it's an upcharge if it's just for you. I'm supporting a large group.
No, I don't disagree with you.
Not an issue for me.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to deal with it. And like there needs to be a selling point, and that would be my selling point. Honestly, as soon as Fire Emblem comes to the GBA, that will also probably push me over the edge. But if they go, hey, you can play Red and Blue on your Switch, and it'll import into Pokemon Stadium, I will my money's gone. It's in their pocket. Like it's really bad. I'm that much of a shill. But that's my only opinion on that.
Oh, well.
But let's go. Let's move on. Yeah. Seth, you've got the next one.
Come with me into the world of Scarlet and Violet and speculation about Scarlet and Violet. And as of recording, it has not yet been confirmed, but this week's 7-star raid is looking to be some kind of Typhlosion, and somehow possibly one that's weak to fire. I am just reading the script here, folks. I don't know.
But
why
yeah, basically,
we think that.
The thought process I think right now for Typhlosion is that we've gotten Decidueye
and Samurott.
We've got Samurott. So who is missing of the Hisui starters? That's right, Typhlosion.
That's fair. That's fair.
And what is Typhlosion's hidden ability? It is Flash Fire. So I think the initial speculation is probably Grass, just because Typhlosion's move pool is not deep. And so I could see it just doing like a Sunny Day Solar Beam type of raid boss.
Ew.
And, Sunny Day. Grass, bring your fire types. What is everyone going to bring online? Gonna bring them fire types and just and realize, you can't do that, guys. You can't do that, guys.
Yikes.
So that's my prediction, at least.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. Move on, Shark, move on.
All right. This upcoming weekend, we have the European International Championships. So expect some high-level play, as well as look out for codes to get a Palafin as for Scarlet and Violet, as well as an alternate art Miraidon EX and TCG Live.
Ooh. Fancy.
So expect info. Probably you just have to come to the Discord or check or watch the streams to get the code in time.
Yeah.
They tend to be only that weekend, so by the time this airs, it's probably gone.
That's actually probably true. We'll see.
So,
local premiere events for the video game are scheduled to return in May, so you can go play your video game at a TCG store near you soon.
Hype.
And yeah, I feel like that's kind of hype. I don't know. Like those kinds of events are very important, I think, too, for video game players.
Yeah.
I think that's undervalued to a large extent because playing against somebody in person, and even like for regionals in like a VGC setting, is way different than playing it online, like on ladder.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the only scenario where you usually play like best of threes as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't do that online ever, right? You don't play best of threes online. And that's an important skill to pick up. Additionally, like just staring at your opponent is also different. I mean, I've had some crazy experiences that like I can't tell on the show sometimes, but
give them the evil eye.
Yeah. Just, it's definitely a skill. Playing in person is a skill that if you go to a regional and you get used to it, you will feel much more confident going into it.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag do recommend. TCG is a lot different because you have to play in person to use the cards. So it's a different, we go to locals every week. Video game players usually don't go to locals.
Yeah.
And
that's good though.
Yeah, no, it is good. I absolutely agree with it. All right.
I've got the next little.
Yeah, you got the next
here.
blurb.
It's Scarlet Violet news, but also PUCL news. So, folks, the PFTT signups are live. They run through the 15th of this month. So you've got till the end of this week. Till basically. Saturday to Saturday the 15th to sign up. So come on and do that. It's a good old time.
Oh, that includes Thatch. Thatch has to remember.
Yeah, Thatch.
Yeah. I'm awful.
It's like, where can you learn about some competitive double Pokemon?
We're going to talk about it today and how easy it will be to beat Thatch.
Heck yeah.
So we're going to do that. It's going to be a good time. I do remember playing in the PFTT like 2 years ago or something. And so I never try to win the tournaments. I always just try to have fun. Right. And then I like stumbled into the top 8. I don't know how. And then I just like turned it on. I'm like, okay, well, I'm here now. I'm going to let everybody know that I'm not actually a joke and that I actually know how to play this game. And then I started bringing like teams that actually I knew how they operated and worked like fluently. And it went much better for myself. But then I think somebody like Jeremy beat me, which always happens. It's fine. It's fine. One day I'll get him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's some Unite news, Shark. All for you.
Lapras is scheduled to release this week on April 13th, and with Chandelure releasing later in the month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yay, more characters.
Exciting.
Keeps going.
It's never ending. It's not going to end until the Pokedex is there.
Yeah, that'll be... We got still probably another 800 or so Pokemon to go.
Yep. Speaking of Lapras, by the way, the Mystic Hero event in Pokemon Go is running from the 13th to the 17th and gives research for a Lapras wearing a Blanche accessory.
Blanche is the leader of the Mystic team for those who don't know.
Wonderful.
So yeah, there's going to be a little story along that. So
yeah. Keeping the Go news rolling because it's so riveting. Reminder that this weekend, the Togetic Community Day happens. So if you are missing that for your dexes, go grab it.
Yay. I forget what the move is.
I don't know.
Actually, I don't know what the move is.
Shark does not?
I would know. I would know. But
yeah, you'd be the guy to know. You would be the guy to know.
I will figure that out.
All right. Well,
in a second. While I talk about this kind of somber piece of news that it's been rumored and it's finally committed to happening. The remote raid passes have increased in price. They are now 195 coins each, with a 3-pack going for 525. This is a stark increase as well. They have limited the amount of remote raids you can do in a day to 5.
I don't understand that entirely. To be fair, I don't think there's many days other than like events where I've actually used more than 5 remote raid passes in a day.
Yeah, I really don't know. And it's like,
I don't know. This one's surprising to me because I saw this was actually like a take that I kind of agreed with Joe Merrick on. And usually I'm just like, Joe, you're talking a lot. And I want I appreciate Joe Merrick. I want to make that very upfront. But sometimes on Twitter he likes to put his foot in his mouth. Which is fine. That's his prerogative. But
Go on.
He did. I agreed with this tweet that he said. He's like, I admire Pokemon Go's dedication to making people like go outside and actually go places, even though it's obviously going to affect their bottom line. Because there are whales that are just like buying, like 10 raid passes in a day and like chugging through all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like this hurts their bottom line because like fewer people are going to buy remote raid passes then. Honestly, like 525 is also like an inconvenient amount.
Yeah, it's a weird amount that is like the 25. Like, you're capped right now. Like, the thing is like, you're capped at 50 coins a day at most. You can really earn unless you buy it. But just having it 195, really?
Yeah,
it's so
very weird. It's so weird.
The only good thing that I have seen from this is that remote raids are at least put back into like. You can actually earn them for free in terms of they're in your research breakthrough rewards.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's actually really good.
That's good because they used to give you free remote raids once a week back when COVID was a thing.
That's essentially the same thing as long as you're playing the game. Like you get it.
I'll take that. The only thing is like because you only can have 3 remote raid passes in your thing. That's how it's always been. If you have 3, it's converted to the premium battle pass.
Which is fine.
That means you just have to remote raid. You just have to at least commit to remote raiding, and at least you can. Yeah,
pushes you to use them up.
Yeah,
exactly. So at least
I find it very. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really weird move by them. I don't know if it's just because they're actually dedicated to it, or they think they have some ulterior motive. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The one thing that was really good that I heard this week, and this has nothing to do with Pokemon, but just like talks about companies that might be out of touch. Wizards of the Coast had like a big D&D summit this week where they had like a lot of popular D&D creators over there. And so D&D's also been doing D&D Directs, which I think is very funny that they're just like straight ripping Nintendo. But they recently announced like their next virtual tabletop, which is like, you can play online with friends instead of playing at a table with friends, which I think is probably a little bit better, but I can understand if you didn't want it. And somebody asked them, because the ad, they're all like, all of the people that are using the computers are using these Alienware, like top of the line laptops. And somebody asked they asked them, they go, will it be possible to play this game on not like, $1,500 Alienware laptops? And the representative goes, is that something you would want? And I was just,
what?
And that just, yeah.
Gosh.
Not everybody has $1,500.
Yeah, and so, but that's kind of that's kind of like how Pokemon Go makes me feel right now. They're just they go, I just want to be able to raid a lot. I want to be able to remote raid a lot, and I just imagine Pokemon going, is that something you would want? And I just imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of locals coming back, local competitive Go events are coming to North America, so you can go tap your phones at your local gaming store near you.
That's fun. That's fun. There's usually good groups, local groups. So yeah, you have at least now more.
I actually expect that to honestly possibly be better than like premier events for VGC in terms of attendance. Just because there's a lot of close-knit local groups.
Yeah.
For Pokemon Go.
That's the big thing, is that usually the groups are very, like, the dedicated local groups are very big.
They're very big.
And so you can definitely get a good chunk coming into some of these places, which is good. Yeah, that's great.
I could see them all being, they all get together for like community days and stuff. I could totally see them being like, hey, let's get together for this tournament,
Mm-hmm. It was like, who wants to play Friday night, and do some raids afterwards. And so, like, hey,
oh my gosh, you're right. Yep, I absolutely agree with that. Speaking of local events, I guess that's the TCG news too, Seth.
Heck yeah, and local events for TCG are coming back, as we've said a couple times, mid-April. So check the Pokemon event website to see local cups and challenges near you. And if your area has like a Discord server, I know that for Georgia, we've got a Georgia Pokemon event Discord server thing that, stores can go in and say, hey, we've got one coming. So check those kind of things. Look out for events. They're back.
Yeah, I think the first day for them is April 14th, which is the day Scarlet and Violet officially in a rotation officially occurs.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out. I mean, especially if you want to go play in these events. I kind of want to I want to be the jerk that's on their Twitter profile and puts like 6 out of 350. Not even winning the event, getting like, top 16 or something.
Yeah. I'm almost there, guys.
I'm on my way.
Only 294 to go.
344 to go. I'll get there in 2 months, I promise.
Yeah.
All right, and then finally to end the news, Puckle's Pokey prediction. As we get deeper into spring, we get closer to Home's release. Last call. Do you believe Scarlet and Violet will support legacy move pools like Swish, or do move resets like BDSP? I hope it's BDSP move resets.
I think it's BDSP.
Please wipe them, please.
That's what they should do.
I'm tired of Weavile being good. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want it to cross my screen.
I mean, that's what they should do. I think
I think so. Just make it easy. Just because I honestly am now in a believer that with Home there should be backwards compatibility, and if this is the way to ensure there is, then so be it. Yeah.
No, you're correct.
There actually can be, because obviously there was a difference with Let's Go. There was a difference with Gen 7, but Gen 8 was the first one, a true Home generation. Gen 9 is the second one, so there should be the potential to send your Pokemon back.
No, because I think that's the way they're talking about it, and this is the only good thing that could come of like the Home Dexits fiasco, is being able to be like, I caught what's a Pokemon that's both in Scarlet and Violet and in
Gyarados
right now. Gyarados. I want to be able to catch a Gyarados in Scarlet and Violet, and I want that thing to be able to go to Scarlet or Sword and Shield.
I wanted to go to Sword and Shield. I wanted to go to BDSP. I wanted to go and is it in Legends Arceus? It should be in Legends Arceus. Yeah, it's Legends Arceus. I wanted all 4 games. I want my Gyarados in all the games. So yeah, you just catch the shiny one, or catch a shiny alpha. Shiny alpha one in PLA, bring it to Swish, play it in Swish, bring it to BDSP, beat BDSP, and then bring it to.
No, I believe if we're gonna have called the decks every gen, we should be able to bring it wherever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It should be able to go between all of the games.
All the games it's legal in.
Yes, it should. I firmly believe this. All right, well, that's going to be it for the the news segment this week. It was a long one. We're going to go ahead and we're going to kick it on over to Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge.
Oh, hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to the Poke Quiz. Thank you for that introduction. Our first question today, guys, is going to come to you from the Once and Future Gamer. Which is the only city which contains a Pokemon Center, but the center is not the default destination when flying to that city?
Ooh, what a question.
Actually, I understand this question now, and I do know the answer.
Repeat the first part of the question, or just repeat the question just to make sure I get, making sure I didn't miss something.
Which is the only city that contains a Pokemon Center, but the Pokemon Center is not the default destination when flying to that city. So when you fly to that city, you show up to a different building.
Oh, I think I know the answer. Oh God, what's the name of it? I just have to think through if that had a Pokemon Center or not. I'm pretty sure it does. And I'm thinking, actually, I have to think. Did you play Black and White too, Seth?
Yeah.
Is there a Pokemon Center in the very first town where your home is? Because Black and White 2, that's the one where you have your homes in that town, and there's the Pokemon Gym in that town.
Right.
Which I'm trying to remember if there's a Pokemon Center in that town as well or not. Or is it in the next town? That's where I'm trying to decide. I don't know if it's...
Well, you said
I feel
the town
like it's something
has
like
it,
that,
yeah.
where it's like your whatever the answer is, it's one where it's the Pokemon
Do you know
Center
the
is
name
in a
of that
town
town?
with your home in it.
Yeah,
That's
fair.
my thinking, but I don't know. My first thought is the Black and White 2, but
My gut, for some reason, went to Setopolis City because I feel like it's on one side of the lake and most everything else is on the other side of the lake, and you have to be able to surf to it. I don't know if that's correct, but I know Setopolis is weird.
That's not a bad thought either. I'm trying to think, because would you spawn in
Or maybe like
Setopolis?
Evergrande
Would you spawn
City?
in front of the gym? Or
I don't
where would
remember.
you spawn? I'm trying to think. What
I don't
other
remember.
place
I'm
has
probably wrong on
Pokemon?
that one. Because if you're not in front of a Pokemon Center in Setopolis and you have to surf, then if you don't have your surfer, you're trapped. So I think it would have to be where the Pokemon Center is.
Yeah, that
now
one.
that I'm
Yeah,
thinking
you're right.
about it.
Yeah, no, the logic has to be it has to be walkable. So,
Or you can fly to another city. I
trying to think what other place, because if Gen 8 does it. Oh, wait. Is it literally the Gen 8 first town?
Gen 8 first town. Remind me.
Can you fly? Or is it? No,
I'm so bad at cities, especially in modern games.
That's not it. That's not it.
Okay, I don't need the exact name, but if you give me the town, I'll take. Or give me whichever one, I'll take it.
I'm still defaulting. I think I'm gonna have to default to. That's not that one.
I'm gonna lean into you for this.
There.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean into you for this one because I do not know.
I'm gonna
very
go
well off the top
ahead
of my
and
head.
say the Black and White 2 starting town. I'm blanking on the name, but it's obviously the first town with the normal type trainer school.
That
and
town
that you
is called
spawning.
that town is called Aspertia City, and it is correct.
Heck
Okay.
yeah!
Because you actually fly to your home instead of the Pokemon Center in Aspertia City. Black and White and Black and White 2 are like the last games that actually did something really cool and tried to do like world building lore type stuff.
Yeah,
And then they like went into remission because nobody bought it and they were scared. And
as they should have been.
And then we got
They were fools.
Then we got vanilla Pokemon again in X and Y, which Thatch is a sucker for, by the way. And really hated it. It was like the first time they did like Gen 1 shilling too. And I was like, this is great.
This is before it became too much, and Charizard is everywhere. This is your fault.
No, like Gen 6, I was like, wow, this is really great. They're paying a lot of homage to Gen 1. This is really cool. It feels good to be a longtime Pokemon fan. And then it just didn't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, you guys can stop the Gen 1 shilling. It's
Charizard
great.
gets its own form. It's independent of anything else. What are the other starters? We have no other starters.
Exactly.
Only Charizard.
Only bring Charizard into Scarlet or into
Charizard's
Galar
the
region.
only one.
Who are Squirtle, Bulbasaur?
Gen 10 has 50 new Pokemon and Charizard.
Exactly.
That's the Dex. 51 Pokemon.
Oh, right. Well, your next
Anyway.
question is gonna come to you guys. Is gonna come to you from Zachary, and I think you can guess the theming of this question.
I have a hunch.
But what move in the mainline Pokemon games has the highest chance of inflicting the freeze condition?
Blizzard when used by a Serene Grace Pokemon. Got him.
I mean, that one is like, to be fair, Blizzard, I'm pretty sure is a 30% chance. And I have
they're all
literally, Blizzard
10.
is a move that has caused double freezes multiple times at Fort Wayne. I have seen video evidence of it, and it was funny. On back-to-back turns, double freeze. So I would not
This
be
week
surprised
on
it's
stream,
just...
I got a Blizzard freeze, and I just rage quit. I was like,
Did you really?
I was like, it was like Murkrow, or no, it was like a support Mousehold and an Annihilate on the field, and they clicked Blizzard, and they hit both. Followed up by the freeze on the Annihilate turn 1, and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to play this game anymore.
You got it. You got the 9% chance I've lost, but
Yeah,
Yay.
it's less than 9%. I did the math. It's like 70% chance to hit, and then
I
another
haven't even factored in the
It's like,
70%.
and then it's a 10% chance to freeze, and I'm like, well, Okay. And then it has to be the one that needed to be frozen, because if the mouse hole was frozen, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was dumb.
So I feel like the actual answer to this question, it's not Blizzard, because all the ice moves like that are 10% chance.
I think Blizzard was 30, but
it
Mia could
maybe
fill me
used
if
to
I'm
be
wrong.
in Gen 1, but I am firmly confident that it's just 10% right now. I believe the answer to this might actually be Tri-Attack.
No, Tri-Attack is 10%. It's 10%. Tri-Attack, I know for a fact, is 10%.
It's 10% for a secondary effect?
It's like 30%, but then each of them is divided equally, so it's basically 10. It's not, I don't think it's Tri-Attack. I really think it's Blizzard still, because I think most of them are 10, but unless it's like Freeze Shock, where it's like
or
the
like,
signature move of Kieran
no, that's 10 as well,
Zekrom,
if anything. And I think those burn, or one of them does. Bird, freezer burn? I don't know.
Maybe it's the, what's the other Kieran?
What's the Dire Claw? Is that some random 20% chance of something? I don't know.
All right, guys, I'm going to need the answer.
Or is it like, is Freeze Dry? No,
Freeze Dry's 10.
Freeze Dry's 10.
I know that from QREM fights.
I'm going to need an answer.
Mm-hmm. I'm
trying to think of what QREM signature moves are. It's probably...
They're all 10. Freeze is such a lethal status condition, they've made it all 10. Unless you do some weird things, like I said earlier, with the Serene Grace Blizzard, 20% chance.
I'm going to need the answer.
Let's go with Blizzard.
Let's just go with Blizzard. I don't think it's right.
Blizzard
but hit me.
is incorrect. The answer is Secret Power in the Snow or Hail.
Yep. Okay.
Because it actually gives you a 30% chance to freeze.
Yep. Because it's just the secondary effect.
Yep. All other moves are 10% apart from Tri-Attack, which is, like Shark said, it's actually a 6.67% chance to freeze because it's 20% chance of status divided by 3. So, yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, you guys got that one wrong. Your next one is your Pokedex entry question, though. And this one is going to come from the trivia master himself, Liger. It's Pokemon Sword and Shield entry state. Yes, yes, both. They are so good. So that's in parentheses. By the man who puts together the trivia document. Gazing at its luminescent spots will quickly induce a hypnotic state, putting the observer under its control. It's said that this Pokemon's hypnotic powers played a role in a certain history-changing events. Who's that Pokemon?
What?
Okay. Hypnotizing spots.
What?
What Pokemon?
Gazing at its luminescent spots will quickly induce a hypnotic state, putting the
and
observer
what game is it from again?
This is from Pokemon Sword and Shield. He just shoved them both together.
Sword and Shield.
It said that this Pokemon's hypnotic powers played a role in certain history-changing events. Who's that Pokemon?
What?
Who has spots?
Luminion.
Don't go spiraling.
No, that one's not in Swish, sadly.
Yeah, I know.
Don't go spiraling.
I just keep picturing this one stupid fish from Subnautica. It's not that. I know it, but
Lantern doesn't have spots. Otherwise...
Lantern doesn't hypnotize or change history. What? Why are these so difficult this week? What the heck? How many buildings were in Twin Leaf Town?
4.
Dang it.
Got you good.
Got me good, yeah.
Got him. Okay, I actually have to look that up while you guys try to figure out this Pokemon.
I'm sure it's probably 4. It's a starter town. Probably the lab, 2 houses, and a Miska building.
And other. The place where everyone else in town lives.
Exactly.
The commune.
What else spots? I'm just
what has hypnotic spots in Sword and Shield? The fact that it's the entry for both Sword and Shield either means that it's a previous gen Pokemon.
No. It's both Pokemon. It's both games. They just shove them both together.
Yeah, it's just something that's in Sword and Shield. That's all it is. It just needs to be a psychic
I wouldn't
type.
read too far into it other than this is the entry. He just wanted to give you both swords and shields at the same time.
Oh, so he spliced them together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not like the same text from one and the other.
No.
Okay, so one says it has hypnotic spots and one says it altered history with hypnosis. So,
Stop. You're spiraling, Seth. You're spiraling.
Oh!
No, I'm
What about
not spiraling.
UFO bug?
Attach that spiral energy.
Because that's a psychic type. That's from Sword and Shield.
That
seems...
Orbeetle?
Yeah, Orbeetle. Yeah.
Yeah, attach your spiral energy.
I don't have anything else.
That's the only thing I could honestly come up with that's like... I was just trying to go through psychic types, and that was just one that just like...
Good with me.
That works.
The alien bug has altered history. Yes.
Orbeetle is unfortunately incorrect.
Dang it.
Darn it.
The next entry you're going to get is going to be from Ultra Moon. And it reads,
okay.
It flashes the pattern on its torso to control its prey and draw them in. The edges of its fins are supremely sharp.
Fins?
It is a fish. So we were all on the fish train early, and then we abandoned the fish.
Cure your status with a spiral energy. Attach spiral energy and cure your status conditions.
That's for you, Seth.
So it's a rapid strike. Got it.
Fish. And it has sharp fins, so it's not artillery.
Is it a rapid strike? What is a sharp-finned hypnotic something that altered history?
It's not...
What?
It's not Bruxus.
Why can't I think of it?
Lantern doesn't have sharp fin, I don't think.
I gave you the best hint in the world for this, Seth. And
Did
if
you really?
figure
You really
it
did.
Is it? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Come on,
Yes.
dude. That's on
Yes,
you.
it
I don't
is.
know what it is. But...
Is it Malamar?
Oh, yeah, Malamar probably works.
Maybe.
I could buy Malamar, but that's...
It's got sharp fins and spots and hypnosis.
It fits all the criteria.
I'm gonna lock it in. I can't think of anything else. Malamar.
Yeah, Malamar.
Malamar is correct.
Yay!
Thank God.
Attach that
It was a
spiral
rapid
energy.
strike Pokemon. Dang
it. All right. Well, this
Wow.
next question, because of the way you guys are doing, 2 for 3, I'm gonna let you get up to 4 points here.
Hey, let's go.
This is gonna test your knowledge of the move Scald today.
Oh,
Rip and
boy.
Pee, Scald, Rip and Pee.
This is gonna be from Jeremy. What 4 fire type Pokemon get Scald? And this is just not, I believe, exclusive to Gen
8.
9.
yeah.
Or not even Gen 8. It's not exclusive to Gen 8. It's just in general.
Oh, just in general, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
4 fires get Scald?
4 fire types
Go
have
ahead.
gotten Scald. What are they?
Please be a different 2 than I have. Go ahead.
Volcanion.
Crap.
Is still the only one.
Yes.
It,
It's
based
a
on
signature
data
move
mines,
now.
it is the only one to get it still.
Yep.
It is correct.
Colossal is number 2.
Oh, yeah.
That is
yeah,
also
okay.
correct.
And the other one is the stupid pig starter that I can't think of.
Oh, you're
Embor,
right.
yes.
Embor.
Embor. Yeah.
That is 3. There is one more. You do have the hint.
We might as well. Do you want to do it here, or you want to do it on stats?
Give me a minute to think of it. Is there any other fire?
Do we have any strikes?
No, actually, you have no strikes.
Oh, wait, can we use strike? Do we get
Oh,
strikes?
yeah. The strike system
Okay.
always applies, yes.
I'm not
Charizard, because he can learn every
is a
fight.
possible one, but I don't think so.
Maybe?
Just because it's the mythical syndrome.
It's a pixie. Yeah. I mean, I'm good with let's just throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Victini.
Nope. Strike one.
Dang it. Colossal was a good one. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I just like it happens to be like the one thing that I thought going into like Terrastalize. Give it Terrastal water. It can actually use Scald. Turns out it can't use.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good cashing in the hint, I guess. We can
If you trust that you
try
can do
the
it on the
base stat
multiple on
thing.
the other one, then yeah, we can cash in the hint.
Yeah. Yeah, hit me.
This is a Gen 8 Mon with a Gigantamax form.
Okay.
Another
It's not
Gen 8
Centiskorch,
fire
is it?
type with a G-Max form.
G-Max Fire, specifically. So we said Colossal. The other G-Maxes are Charizard and
Cinderace.
Centiskorch.
Or
Cinderace.
Probably Centiskorch then. Yeah, it's probably Centiskorch.
Can bugs spew hot water?
When
Find
they're
out next
when
week.
they're super hot, yeah.
Yeah.
That thing is really hot for a piece of bacon.
Are there other fire G-Max babies? I can't think of any other than Cinderace, as you put it.
Cinderace.
I did say that.
and Centiskorche and Charizarde.
So I think it's got to be Centiskorch. I don't think it's I'm pretty sure we would have talked about using Cinderace with Scald before.
Yeah.
I know we talk about using Electro Ball with it, but not Scald. So yeah, I'm good with Centiskorch.
I'm down with Centiskorch. We probably forgot something. Final answer, Centiskorch.
That is correct, Centiskorch.
Yeah.
There you go.
What a weird... What?
That was 4.6 for 4. That's where you're at. All right, your next question is your base stat question. As always, this one's going to come to you from the once and future gamer.
Yeah.
Which fully evolved fire type has the lowest base defense of all fully evolved fire types?
Lowest defense fire type. Fully evolved.
Cinderace.
Cinderace comes to mind, yeah.
That is
Cinderace.
So, fully evolved fire type.
With the lowest base defense.
It ain't Arcanine.
Cinderace.
I could go Houndoom.
Ooh, that's a good
interesting one. Just being
it
that
worse than
low,
Cinderace?
like, frail thing.
And just being a Gen 2, I have low stats, wah, Pokemon. Because Gen 2 was bad.
Oh. Darm is not a terrible option either. I know that thing is frail as frick.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. I think its only potential, like, bulk at all comes from its high HP stat. That's a good one. I think that's probably the best.
I feel better about that one than Houndoom, just a smidge more.
Yeah.
I think just because I know that one's like 55s and some of those stats.
Yeah. Sounddoom's probably, I feel like 70.
That's what I feel like is that. I mean, otherwise, terrible stat like Talonflame, but I know you use that defensively enough, so it has something.
That's also 75, 80-ish. Yeah, I'm good with Darmanitan. That feels really good.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Lock in.
Which one do you go with?
Darmanitan.
Darmanitan is correct.
Yeah.
It has a base 55 defense. Followed up in Losersville in terms of defense for fire types. Our favorite fire type that is bad, Flareon.
Oh, yeah.
Followed
all of its attack.
It's also that's tied with Iron Moth at 60.
Yeah.
And then there's also Simisear down at 63.
What Pokemon is that? I don't.
Yep. I haven't seen Simisear on the Switch yet, so it's okay. I haven't seen it on the Switch yet, so it just doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. All right. That is that gives you guys 7 points, so that's a considerable amount, and Shark has forced me to update it with everybody's point totals. So he held me at gunpoint, guys. He held me at gunpoint.
You kept asking. I gave you the points you missed.
He just had this Remoraid and it scared him.
Yeah, Shark's holding Remoraids, pointing them at my head. All right, in first place, considering that he just told me how many points he had, Shark with 19.
Wow. Amazing.
In second place, we've got Sublime with 17. In third, Whimsicott with 16. Tied for fourth, we've got Linian and Seth Vilo with 14. In sixth, we've got Basket with 12. Seventh is a tie between Mark and Claude with 8. Jushiro is in ninth with 6. And our Sigma and Shamu are tied with 5. First one to 40 gets it. Whoever gets it does it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Until next time, until next week, we'll be back with more Poke of the episode. But until then, we've got the topic. And welcome to another review of the podcast. It's Slaps from FatPat 1988, 5 stars. I began listening to the podcast back in Gen 5, right before X and Y released. At the time, I felt it was okay. Fell out of Pokemon for a bit around Gen 7 and only recently came back. I came back to the podcast as well, and I have to say they have really grown into something spectacular. I thoroughly enjoy the structure and content of the show. At this point, in my opinion, it is easily the best Pokemon podcast out there. Well, thank you for that, and I do agree we've grown. But if you want to have your review read on the show, go ahead, leave it for us, and we're definitely going to go ahead and have it read on the show. But until then, we're going to kick it on over to the topic. Welcome to the topic. Our topic today is competitive Pokemon, in terms of VGC, not TCG, and all of our misadventures. I'm gonna let Seth take it from the top though, because we're gonna quickly go over singles and the status of singles, but then we really want to just like dive into some VGC discussion. It's probably gonna turn into a lot of like how to VGC, quote unquote, and just how Thatch's experience trying to get back into it this week.
Yeah, with PBFTT coming up, I think it's going to be very fun and useful to try to do that. And so come on the Discord if you want to learn more and play with us.
Yeah, and give you my hot takes.
Yeah.
My hot takes. But yeah, go ahead, Seth. Take her away. Let her rip.
You betcha. So the last competitive episode that we had was March the 10th. So I'm going through the announcements of things that have happened since then. First of all, new tier movement means new tiers have formed, and Hariyama was quickly banned from Scarlet Violet RU, so it's no longer there. It's implied here that it was from a council vote real quick.
That thing is scary when you get a belly drum, and just in general, it's got good attack and fake out, decent priority stuff. So it doesn't surprise that if it can be a menace in low tiers if the meta is not set up for it.
And speaking of menace in low tiers, we have PU tiering actually happening now, and Oricorio Pau form, the psychic one, was banned because it quickly gets out of hand with Quiver Dance and Revelation Dance.
Poor Oricorio.
Revelation Dance is weird because Revelation Dance and terastallizing is real freaky.
Oh, it's great. It's great. It becomes your Terra type.
Yeah.
So you're basically, Oricorio is a mono flying Pokemon, except for your base your base form, whatever it is, you get the Revelation Dance is that stab, or you get your Terra type and it becomes that stab, which makes it funny. It's really funny playing it in Draft League. I actually legitimately have seen it do very well in an Ubers League where just one Quiver Dance off and it does not get stopped.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Weird.
So not surprising to see it both banned, and then also it did move up to NU because of it's a good mon.
Makes sense for sure. So then a couple other suspect tests happened in the later part of March. One was the suspect test in OU for Walking Wake, and it survived. It is still OU. You still see it walking around. It did not reach the supermajority to ban it by quite a large margin. I guess over the course of the suspect test, a lot of people's opinion changed, and it became like, oh, okay, we can counter this actually. So it remains. The other thing is Ubers had their first suspect test, seeing if Moody needed to be banned, because things like, of all things, Scovillain were absolutely tearing up the tier, even without the evasion boost that Moody no longer provides. But yeah, it was freaky, and so that was banned with a 78% ban.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, they really was like, nah, man, you can't use Scovillain no more.
Tired of this. Yeah.
Okay, Moody with Scovillain, though, is dumb. It is dumb.
It's very good offensively, and with Subseed is very good.
And I think part of it was like you could use the sun to really ensure you got a sub off real fast and let you kind of fish for a couple of good Moody boosts before the sun went away. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Scovillain's I think it's base 100 is one of the faster chlorophyll users in the game.
Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't have chlorophyll. It would have Moody. What am I thinking?
Oh, wait, what am I talking about? Yeah, it can't do
What am I thinking? I don't know anyway. But yeah, Moody is fun. It's good.
You're right. It can't use both dirt.
Yeah, it's bad and banned in Ubers. It's gone. And the final actual formalized tiering action is Toxtricity has been banned from RU via a suspect test. So they got through one, they completed it, and Toxtricity is no more.
Understandable, because it's a boom burst button.
Uh-huh. So as far as other things happening, Ubers does not have one going on, I believe. Could be wrong. Yep, Ubers does not have one going on. OU does not have one going on, and there isn't really a resounding opinion on what even needs to be looked at the moment. Things like Garganical are basically a non-issue anymore, so that's good. Other things that people are looking at is Volcarona, of all things, because people are figuring out all the different Terra types that you can run with Volcarona and really throw off what can stop you. So even some Terra Dragon Volcarona have started showing up, but it's starting to become more and more manageable a little bit, just with being able to kind of look at the team structure and better predict what it's going to be. So Volcarona's a little bit more manageable. The other thing that has just shot off like a rocket in OU is King Gambit.
Oh yeah, I think that thing has evolved to be the big steel type over Goldango lately.
Well, forget big steel type, the big thing. Like, if you look at the viability ranking things in OU, there are 2 S ranks, Great Tusk and King Gambit. The others are S- with Dragapult and Volcarona. But yeah, King Gambit is arguably as good as Great Tusk at the moment. So it's wild, and it's also partly due to Terra, because it's weird. It can go Terra Fire to keep from being burnt. It can go Terra Flying, which I think is one of the more common, to just completely flip its weaknesses around and still just be a monster. So, yeah, that's the general consensus right now. I don't see any other big things happening. There were some tier shifts that occurred the beginning of this month, or at least some trends.
Yeah, mostly the newer mons that got added are slowly making their way down. Decidueye got added in and Iron Leaves got added in, but they did not make the impact in OU, so they're slowing down.
Yeah. Yep, they're dropping down where they should be.
Yeah, Samurot's probably going to come down next month. It just got released too late to be counted, so it's still in OU for now. One thing I did see in the little graphic for the tier changes for April that I'll kind of make your eyes kind of do a double take on, from PU to NU, which is obviously, it's low tier, but it's a little shift up. Hisuian Zorua.
Zorua, not Zoroark.
Not Zoroark. Zoroark is still in OU, but Zorua, the little baby.
I can believe that with just with Imposter, I feel, well, not Imposter. Oh my gosh.
That ability.
Illusion.
The illusion. Yeah.
That's it.
But I mean, its stats, it's got good speed. It's got good spatak. It's actually still decently viable, albeit fragile without an Eviolite. But it can, it can do the same things that Papa Zoroark can do in the low tiers, where there's not as big scary things. So I was like, okay, that's kind of fun to see. You got little tricksy games down there. I might have to try that out.
Yeah.
But I mean, you talked about it on the last episode with the Pokemon of the episode with Zorua. So yeah, in Little Cup.
Fair. Yeah. The other thing that people are more and more excited for are the whispers of whenever home lands, what's going to happen, what's going to change. And some things are like, could Hisuian Samurott actually stay OU because it's got a decent enough typing? Ceaseless Edge allows it to set spikes, which is cool. Heatran will put Volcarona's Reign of Terror to a hard stop.
Not if Terror Ground says anything about it.
But it forces it to Terror Ground. So it at least limits it down to what it can do. Like, this is all kind of hypothetical and everything, but, it's whispers and things like that of every now and again the conversation goes towards what could happen when home drops. And it's all back to the moveset wipe as well, if that's still going to occur, or if they're going to change the coding somehow so it doesn't. So, yep, that is the singles update. Not a terrible amount of things happening other than just tiers still settling out, new Pokemon still settling out, that sort of thing. So, ta-da!
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So VGC time, right? We're gonna
Heck yeah.
We're gonna move into VGC. So this is my adventure into VGC because I've been playing it on and off, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just got back from regionals this week, and I'm like, you know what? This is a good week to figure out VGC because we're going to talk about it. Also, we just did, well, we didn't do poorly, but, it's one of those things where,
Top third,
you don't,
not bad.
where you don't get the points and you're just like, we could just play VGC instead, and you flip the table, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And, they only had 500 players. We could have done this,
We could have been a contender.
They only had 500 players. We had 1,000.
Yeah.
So I was playing around, just trying to do something different because VGC works different brain muscles, I think, than TCG.
Oh,
100%, yeah.
Though the tactile feeling of shuffling is very nice. I was going ahead and I'm like, okay, let's do this because Regulation C just started. Let's get into it right now at the top of Regulation C. Because honestly, my biggest pet peeve with VGC right now is that the meta changes every 2 months.
That's true. Yeah, by the time you have a good bred or caught or EV'd or whatever team, it's time to do it all again with different stuff.
It's not even that you have a team ready. It's just that the meta, I've been very surprised with how much the meta has changed with each iteration so far, because we're on Regulation C. Thank God they've changed the name so I can actually understand what's going on.
Yeah, between that and seasons, no.
Season, series, everything. It's very frustrating. And so I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's get into it. Let's actually focus on it, because I couldn't really get into what would have been known as Regulation B, because by the time I had started getting into it, it was like almost over. And then when I got into Regulation A, it was like ending, and I had figured it out at the end. So, which is very frustrating. It's just very frustrating to like finally feel like you're making some progress and then kind of get like pushed 2 steps back.
Yeah, because I think there's definitely a big shift from A to B, just because the Paradox Mons are just very powerful, and so they are warping. And with this one, there's fewer Pokemon added in Regulation C. The big things are that now we got the 4 Treasures of Ruin Pokemon.
Okay, but the problem is like those are really good Mons, because if you actually look at the Picalytics for it, all of them are over, I kid you not, all of them are over 30% usage, I believe, with the exception of Wo-Chien.
Other than a good one.
Well, but even then, Wo-Chien's at like 17%. That's not low.
Just on the Switch numbers that they have, all 4 of them are in the top 10. Wo-Chien there is number 9 between Iron Bundle and Glamora. But like, I think Wo-Chien is kind of, it's just kind of teetering.
Wo-Chien requires a little bit more finesse. In my opinion, than the rest of them. So I think it's easy. I think it's way easier to drive like Chi-Yu or Tingaloo. That's my honest opinion. Chien Pao
is big, hits hard.
Yeah, Chien Pao is just like, here's Weavile.
Here's Weavile, but better, because this one still gets all the toys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yuck.
Yeah, and then Wo-Chien's just Wo-Chien.
Live Wo-Chien reaction.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Why does it have 70 speed?
I think Fluttermane's still at the top because Fluttermane's good.
Yeah, we've had 2 tournaments thus far that happened back to back. We had the Fort Wayne going just a hair behind Sydney. But so I'm just looking at these top 8 teams, and literally the first Pokemon in 15 out of 16 teams is Fluttermane. So it's the best. It is still just the best Pokemon in the format right now, because Ghost Stab and Fairy Stab basically have very limited checks. And
135 is ugly.
Yeah, 135 is the speed of the format. You don't see Pulse much, so really your speeds are the fastest things in the format are Fluttermane, Chien Pao, and Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle's kind of lost a little bit of favor recently. We'll kind of see how but I mean, it still was in the finals team. Joseph Ugarte used it in Fort Wayne pretty well, so I'm definitely not like, I still think that's the kind of the speed benchmark of the format. So yeah, everything has got to be built around Fluttermane right now.
Yeah, Fluttermane's just very good. I mean, so even then, part of my story, like, because I don't think I'm going to be able to give a very accurate overview of the meta currently, because it's been a week. It's honestly probably still developing to some extent.
Yeah, literally these formats changed the moment these tournaments started. So these were freshly built, and they're still evolving, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it does not surprise me.
Yeah, so it's definitely all still evolving, and it's definitely interesting in that regard. So I kind of just want to go into my experience of like how to get into VGC, which I think is probably going to be more valuable than me just rambling off, like me talking about matches.
Absolutely. I would appreciate it personally.
Well, I'm going to be honest to you, Seth. I think it's going to this is a story without an ending, right? That's pretty much where it's going to go, because like I said, this week I'm going to spend this week prepping for the show, figuring out how to play VGC, playing a little bit of VGC so that maybe I understand exactly what's going on. So my first answer is I don't exactly know what's going on. The things I can pick up and general trends is that some stuff from Regulation A is still very viable.
Oh yeah,
but mostly in terms of pairs, right? There were a lot of pairs in Regulation A that worked really well. Like a good example of that would be in DD Armor Rouge.
Oh yeah.
That's a very popular pair because you can get Expanding Force off pretty easily from either Armor Rouge or Indeedee. On top of that, they both learn Trick Room.
Actually, I don't think Indeedee can anymore. I think it's...
Oh, Indeedee might not get it. No, I think it's exclusive to Armor Rouge.
I think it's just Armor Rouge right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, you get Expanding Force. You also, they both all have access to Trick Room, so you could get your Trick Room off without like knowing which one's going to do what. and which is very, very weird mind games in and of itself. You know, Indeedee gets great redirection, blah, blah, blah. That's a good one. Another one that I saw was Mouse Ape is still very much alive and well.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually use Mouse Hold to beat up on Annihilate, to get Rage Fist up at like crazy high levels.
What is that? 250 base power after a
after a 4 beat up. Yeah, it's crazy, and that's not your opponent touching you either, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got bulk up happening at the same time typically, because I think the bulk up set's my favorite Annihilate set. So
I hate it
just because you live longer, and especially with the Treasures of Ruin around. Like if you brought in Qian Pao and you lowered their attacks, right? That would be pretty nasty. And then, you know, like Sun's still there. I mean, Sun's very prevalent because Paradox Mons are here too. So any of the ancient Paradox Mons will get a boost from Torkoal being around, but you can also still play like Chlorophyll shenanigans with Lilligant, which I think is good. And then like the Treasures of Ruin themselves have been very game changing. I mean, Wo-Chien is definitely the weakest of them. You can play it. It will just take some finesse and your team will need it. But you know, Ting Lu is very good. The typing is good. Itself is bulky. The only thing that's come out of this meta that I think people really dislike is the return of Oko moves being prevalent, specifically on like Ting Lu and Qian Pao, because Ting Lu is like fissure all the way, and Qian Pao has sheer cold occasionally.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, Stall is actually kind of an archetype. It's still not a huge one, but I thought there was a team that I watched from the Fort Wayne that this is the team. This is from Yuan Song. It was Corviknight, Toxapex, Wo-Chien, Chi-Yu, Ting Lu, Grimmsnarl. That is like a stally, bulky freaking team. And there was definitely one match Chi-Yu didn't come. So there was like the offensive pressure was just stall.
Good.
So I'm like, oh my gosh.
Good.
This
is a viable team.
The metas here are actually kind of insane. Like this meta is from the limited experience I have, because I'm still, you know, catching the rope. It reminds me very much. It doesn't remind me, but it's somewhere in between like early Sun and Moon meta, where we just had this crazy year of just like stall teams are viable, and it slowed the game down a bunch, which I think you can do here as well. Like the game can be slow again. And then you do have hyper offense that works very well as on top of that. It's a crazy time to be playing, because like there's so many new Pokemon that do different things. Like Palafin's really big still.
Yes.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Fort Wayne teams, the top 8, they legit the top 6 or like the top 5 all have fire, water, grass cores, and they all do slightly different things. Yes, you have Amoonguss is pretty much probably the best grass type still. The Wo-Chien kind of, like, it just doesn't have Spore. If Wo-Chien had Spore, I'd probably see it maybe considered a little more than Amoonguss, but Amoonguss still having the Spore and being the menace that it is in VGC, that's why it's there. Your fire types, you can pick your Chi-Yu being the more offensive one. You have Arcanine as your bulky Intimidate Mon, you don't have the Incineroar at home. You use that.
Incineroar at home.
And then you also still have Talonflame making appearance, and you use it as that tailwind, give your team that speed advantage. And then your water types, you've got Palafin being the bulky, hit everything, break everything.
Iron Bundle's still there too. Iron Bundle's good.
Yeah, and then Gyarados is the other Arcanine, or is the water Arcanine. So you got that.
Oh yeah, a lot of them run support sets: Thunderwave, Taunt, Helping Hand.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you earlier, Shark, because I think it was before the show we were talking about. You almost made the comment that Incineroar might not have affected the meta, but I'm like, any meta that Arcanine's in right now, Incineroar would flourish in.
Yeah,
just swap it out.
Yeah, no, because Incineroar is the superior Arcanine. It's just better Arcanine.
Yeah, and the only issue is just that the dark weakness to the redundancy of it, but there really isn't a fighting type yet that has really... There's not a fighting...
Chi-Yu and Fluttermane would like to have a word with you about how dark hinders...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, your Fluttermane doesn't have... Yeah, Fluttermane, it could probably break Incineroar a little easier than Arcanine, but still,
Honestly, Incineroar resists both...
No, it's neutral.
Yeah, it's neutral. It's neutral to Fairy.
It's neutral.
Yeah.
But you could just Terra Dark. Just Terra Dark. It's fine. Or Terra Fire. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You kind of have to flip around. But Gyarados, the Gyaradoses that are used here are Waterfall, Taunt, Thunderwave, and either Helping Hand or Iron Head, kind of depending on what you need it to be. So they're just there's either running Citrus or Lum, just kind of that big support, the support mon for these teams. So
yeah, so going back to what I was trying to get into the VGC this week, one of my pet peeves I found, especially lately, in VGC, is the lack of full movesets for teams that did perform well at tournaments. It's very hard to find like a paste. A lot of people won't like it if you win. So compare this to TCG. Like, TCG is very easy. Seth and I, the night that we got back from Fort Wayne, could go on to limitlesstcg.com, and we found the exact deck list of the person that won Fort Wayne. And we kicked ourselves because they were like one card off of.
It was a Goodra. It was a Goodra deck.
It was one card off from our list. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine, guys.
Hey, either we made the right call or we're bad pilots. One of the two.
I think a lot of tournament runs also depend on what you hit during your tournament run.
For sure.
I played 3 Arcturaldons, which are not the optimal setup for a Goodra deck. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
On top of that, so you've got it's very frustrating to find it. I did end up digging up a lot of resources to help me figure out what to do, because I was trying to figure out like spreads and stuff for Flutter mains and everything to see what people are running and why. It's very difficult to find that. There aren't a lot of good articles out there from my research over a week, by the way. Like, other people who are in it might have better understandings than I do, and I open up puclpodcast@gmail.com for you to educate me.
Or come on the Discord. We have a competitive doubles.
Yes, please show me these resources, because I cannot find them to save my life.
We have a few, but it's the big thing with most of these pastes. Like, if you don't, like, you get the team sheet, which is good.
Yes, you get the team sheet.
It's a good basis, but it doesn't quite tell you how they're EV'd, which does actually impact how some of these Pokemon are used. A
lot, actually. So I found a Flutter main spread this week. That was the difference between a Flutter main getting O-code by another Flutter main or surviving. And so, like, that's great. Like, I understand that. The problem is, I wish the only reason I found that is because I just plugged in different numbers on Showdown, and I learned this playing. Which is, like, I'm going to argue is like half the battle doing it right, because I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to sit down on like the Showdown calcs and like be like, I need this much HP to survive a Shadow Ball. So it was something that I was definitely playing with, and something that I am aware of. So I did want people to, I don't know, that's my one frustration. I did find some great resources, though. One good resource I found, and this isn't the best resource I found, was from Reddit, r/RateMyVGC team, which was really helpful, actually, because people would post their teams. A lot of the times the teams would not be good.
But that's where the help comes in.
Yes. Another one was there was another Reddit thread I found, and maybe I should post this in Discord later after this episode posts. But there was a Reddit thread that I did find of a guy who found a bunch of teams that were performing well before Regulation C went live on Cart. He found the teams that were doing well. But it was, again, just like, here's the team sheet. And so what he did is he took his knowledge of how things worked and he put his own spreads to them. And he goes, here are 5 teams. I don't know if they work. Here, vote on these and tell me which one you think is the best of these 5. Which was very helpful, because like one team was like obviously better than the rest. And I could tell you that after playing with all of them. So that was an interesting resource. I hope that guy continues to do that every regulation cycle. I will follow that closely. That was an excellent resource. But the one that I found that I think was the best resource was surprisingly a Twitter account called VGC Pastes.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the one you shared with us before for us to like talk.
Yeah, because I thought it was a good resource, because I was playing around with the teams as well. And on top of that, they actually this is the best, like, because I need digestible information. Like, I'm not going to be the kind of person right now, especially with like how widespread my interest is in Pokemon right now. I cannot sit down and digest, 20 Cybertron Zang videos to be able to learn what the current meta is right now. Also, that's not the way I learn. I'm not going to learn from lectures from Aaron Zang. I'm going to learn by throwing the team into Showdown and playing the game. And then making my tweaks myself, learning how certain things work, maybe reading articles and learning how that works. And unfortunately, like I said, there's not a lot of good articles. But what they did do is they actually grabbed 6 sample teams with some notes actually from a Japanese account as well to help you learn these teams, learn these archetypes. There's 6 of them. This tweet will also get posted when the episode goes up as well. But they gave a lot of archetypes. They give you the pace. They actually give you the rental codes. They give you the poke pace, everything. They tell you what the team does in like 2 bullet points and then a list of how to beat them if you see them.
Yep. That's the cool part to me.
Yeah. And I really, really appreciate all of that. So I really hope that it's a good resource for other people as well. To try to do it, because I as somebody who's trying to get back into it, it's been very difficult, I think, lately, just because there has not been a lot of information dissemination. I think a lot of that's because events weren't existing for like a couple of years, so it's very hard to get into it. On top of that, we were in a very stale meta before we hit Scarlet and Violet, so there wasn't a lot of innovation to be had.
Yeah. Being Ubers, Ubers in a format that, for that long without any spice, it's just kind of got really stale really fast.
Yeah.
Tell y'all what, I'm making this toxic sushi team. It
looks really fun. It does look really fun, yeah.
It is right up my alley. I love it so much.
Yeah, I mean, I've played around with all of them. I have found that I really like the Sand archetype right now because it meshes really well with Ting-Lu. Lycanroc with Sand Rush is really good right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
In that regard, and I get to play with the Tyranitar, and Tyranitar is, one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, honestly, like, Rock type hits those Treasures of Ruin really well, because Fluttermane's frail, Iron Bundle's weak to Rock, specifically Assault Rock, Chiyu's weak to Rock, Chien-Pao's weak to Rock, so yeah, no. It's a good time to go for that Sand right now, if you want to go anti-meta.
I think Sand is a lot of fun. And you can pair it with like a lot of different things. Like Annihilate works pretty well with it for the most part. You could throw it in like a Fluttermane. I think Fluttermane with Ting-Lu is kind of not great, so I would not recommend it. But I don't know. There are teams that use it successfully. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it lowers its special attack. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some teams that use it though, and they use it successfully.
I mean, Ting-Lu is just the thing that just sits there and it slows the game down.
Yeah, it just sits there.
But it just won't die.
Yeah, it's hard to kill.
And it's just good. You kind of need something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to kill, and it really forces your opponents to either prioritize that, because it can do a lot of damage too.
Yeah.
These teams, they'll all go up. They'll all go up, like I said, but I definitely recommend people try it out. It was definitely this week was definitely an experience trying to get back into VGC. One that's not going to end, but definitely something where I'm going to keep looking for resources. So I definitely appreciate anybody that can guide me further, that's listening to the show. But I do want to try to disseminate like ways to enter without having to do crazy calcs all the time and sit just on Showdown Calc and figure it out. This isn't Draft League. In Draft League, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In VGC, I don't want to sit and do that a lot. I want to look at what other people's spreads are, and then once I get an idea of what those spreads do, maybe be able to tailor my own based on that, once I understand what the point is.
Mm-hmm.
No, just go max everything.
To be fair, there was a while in Sword and Shield where like that was just optimal on a lot of things, was just to go max.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt good because I'm like, my inner singles player really likes this. My inner singles player is just like very happy about this.
Whoa, Chen goes maximum HP, maximum defense, Yug.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm looking at, man. That's all I'm looking at. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't have much else to talk about other than like it's a new meta. This is a great time to get into it as well. I'm sure it'll shift once we get home a little bit. I mean, we do get a lot of Pokemon, but I don't think a lot of them are going to be illegal.
It depends. They have to be the Regulation C right now goes to June 30th, so we have it for quite a while.
Thank you.
And it specifically says that it has to be in the Paldea Dex.
Good.
I don't think home will change it at all, especially if the moveset thing...
Not until July.
Yeah.
Not until
July.
Which, by that point, home will be there.
So we've got a while. We got some time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is EUIC, that is NAIC, that is a lot of big level tournaments that are happening under this.
That should be the end of the season. That'll be the end of the season. So anything after this, after Regulation C, will affect 2024 Worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That should be at that point. You shouldn't have anything. So this is the last actual VGC meta before Worlds. And Worlds, I guess, depends if they'll keep it Regulation C or they'll allow home shenanigans with Suimons and
or
whatever
Regulation D is. I don't know if that will mean that Koraidon and Miraidon are free.
No, please, no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't do that for a long time. Not till every DLC and stuff is done and over with. So
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Or who knows? Maybe we'll get another Walking Wake and Iron Leaves. We don't know anything.
True. But yeah.
But are they in the Paldea decks?
Nope.
I don't even think they're eligible.
No, they're not.
They're not. They don't have dex entries. So, I mean, what?
Yeah.
Even then, when we get their dex entry, yes, this looks like Suicune.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is dex entry for Iron Leaves and Walking Wake. All right. Well, that's going to be it for VGC. If you guys have any opinions on VGC or TCG for that matter, let us know at puclpodcast@gmail.com next week, and we might read it on the show. But until next time, I think we're going to kick it on over to our Pokemon of the episode. We'll catch you on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
Welcome to our Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex number 1003. I hate that I said that larger of a number. Tinglu, the Ruinous Pokemon.
Its Pokemon Violet entry reads, it slowly brings its exceedingly heavy head down upon the ground, splitting the earth open with huge fissures that run over 160 feet deep.
I do love that they made a Pokemon that's like straight up just like fissures. Also, I love that they nerfed the Ruin Pokemon. When the game launched, before they even came out, they nerfed them by like 5 points.
Yeah, there was just like a tiny little.
I think they were all 10 points.
It was 10 points.
Like,
it was 10 points. Yeah, it was 10 points.
This is HP for this one.
HP defense. HP defense. Special attack got buffed for no reason.
Yeah. I think it was just because they needed to nerf it HP and defense stats by 15, and they had to throw it back on Spitting.
Base 165 would have been stupid, so I do not blame them. Base 165 would have been stupid. Could you imagine Tinglu with the 534 HP? Like, that'd be insane.
What is this thing? What did this thing clad itself in?
Fear.
I love how the Ruinous things all have like one of the entries is this X emotion in this item clad itself in type to become a Pokemon.
I mean, Tinglu is still very good even after the nerf. It's base 155 HP. That's like 20 points lower.
Isn't Qianpao hatred? Yeah, it's hatred for Qianpao. Like, I love it.
Base 110 attack. Base 125 defense. Bulky boy. Base 80 special defense, so Fluttermane can punch it in the face. It's 55 special attack.
You would think
55. It wishes it could, but then it gets a special attack drop, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but then it doesn't matter, so it's fine.
It really doesn't, because like I pulled up a calc just out of pure curiosity, and most Tinglus tend to be Assault Vest.
Yeah, I know.
With enough HP, with like even if you don't put in HP, you just put in Spadef and AV. It's a roll to Tuco with Iron Bundle.
Yes.
What?
Specs.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Holy mackerel.
So legitimately, I have seen a video evidence this week where Tinglu was the last Pokemon on one person's side of the field, and it got off 3 fissures, 2 of them connected.
Yeah, one of the best.
So it was this close to pulling it back. It could have gone 4-0 after going with off a fissure.
Tinglu is so bulky. One of the best partners for it's like Amoonguss, which I believe is on the team this week as well. Just because you just pollen puff it and you just keep it alive. Amoonguss is bulky enough too to like stay alive unless you've got a flying type or a fire type like focusing on it.
Yeah.
But if it's a fire type, like you just protect with Amoonguss and then Tinglu just takes it out and it doesn't matter anymore. And
Tinglu is so cool.
Like Tinglu is I think Chen Pao and Chi Yu are both getting slightly more usage than it, just because those are like the cool, hot, hyper offensive guys. But Tinglu is just so good.
I think they pair better with other things. I think that's the thing. Chen Pao and Chi Yu pair better with offensive threats.
You are correct. You are correct.
To be defensive about it.
Yes, you are correct. But Tinglu is just very good. I think Tinglu is very good. So we can jump into the team today. It is a VGC team. This is actually in the top 4 at Fort Wayne. So we could have seen this team in action, Seth, but we were too busy being
good. Yeah.
Good in quotes.
Getting the giant Sprigatito plush with enough points.
That is what we focused on. And I got a little Zapdos Lego thing, which I built.
And making horrendous gameplay errors against a small child inside event, which I did, and had to have a 2 prize penalty. It was great.
Playing against... I played against so many children in side events, and I beat them all, and I felt kind of bad. But
I didn't. This kid was incredible.
That kid was good. I played. He was
amazing.
I played like his 7-year-old sister though, and I felt bad because she was like really cool, and like we talked for a little bit, and she was asking about my cats.
Yeah,
and I was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I beat you," but. Yeah,
I was accidentally cheating against her brother. Whoops.
And she knows how to. She knew how to scoop better than I did. So.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay, but moving on. Tingaloo with an assault vest, like we were just talking about. Vessel of Ruin is the ability. Terra type grass. It's actually one of the better ones. EVs 4 HP. 196 attack, 12 defense, 252 special defense. There's your max stat, Seth. And 44 speed. I assume the 44 speed is because this is how much we had left over after we did our calcs for a required.
It actually outspeeds King Gambit with no speed. So you gotta
actually that something. Makes sense. That makes sense.
And that was was one of the more popular steel types that you see. So it at least outspeeds that.
Yep. This is an adamant nature. I know you've changed this set slightly.
The only thing I did was I put on Fissure over Earthquake on this because I think Fissure's a much better move. I think
I agree with
Assault
you.
Vest version.
I agree with you.
Functional question.
Yes.
If Earthquake misses one of the opposing targets, not necessarily both of them.
No. I know what you're gonna ask. You're gonna ask if the power goes up.
I don't think it triggers I don't think it triggers Stomping Tantrum. I'll have to double check that, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on.
It has Stomping Tantrum. It has Ruination, which is just what was the Tapu move? Nature's Madness. Nature's Madness.
Thank you.
It is Nature's Madness
it's
again.
Super Fang.
And Fissure as well as Heavy Slam for a little bit of coverage because Tinglu actually gets surprisingly little coverage. Which is probably okay for such a bulky mon. Like last thing we need is Tinglu like spitting out flamethrowers or something.
Yeah, honestly, in other formats, it really suffers from like anything with flying or levitate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of needs the extra coverage when it can get it. But honestly, it gets by without it too at the same time.
Yeah, it really does.
So fat.
Yeah. You've also got Arcanine on this team because Arcanine, good boy, with safety goggles, so it can't be put asleep by an Amoonguss. It also has Intimidate because Intimidate is also good. It's got the Flying Terra type, which is probably for the best. Probably to go with the Earthquake that was originally on the Tinglu. So you could partner the two together. But it's got 252 HP, 52 attack, 68 defense, 44 special defense, and 92 speed. Those are all numbers. And that means it's bulky. It's got an adamant nature, so you can hit with this Flare Blitz. It does have Will-O-Wisp, which is a really nice tech to have to burn other physical attackers. You have Howl, so you can get your own attack boosts. And you have Extreme Speed, because Arcanine has Extreme Speed, and I like Priority in this meta a lot. Like, just having one Mon with a priority, I think, is very important. And this team, I think, has at least 3.
Yeah.
So, which is also all good for it. So, I will let somebody else take something else.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and take some of the big offensive pressures on this team. You have the big Pokemon of the format, Fluttermane. It is rocking Booster Energy with its EV spreads are set up so it boosts attack. Its EV spreads are 76 HP, 100 defense, 108 attack, 4 defense, and 220 speed. It is modest, so it is triggering that attack just a little bit more than its speed. It is rocking Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Protect. So it's just got enough defense to probably survive some of these more physical offenses, but also still trying to maximize its offensive pressure it can.
Mm-hmm.
So it can get outsped and outcracked by other Flutter mains, but this is near probably about as much as you can push it without losing the defenses.
Yeah, the defenses are nice to have. They are nice to have on Flutter main.
Yeah, it's not going to be the fastest Flutter main. I think you could definitely push this faster, but it's definitely one of the better. Like, at least gives you probably the most firepower, while
yes,
also still being fast.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. All right, what's next?
On the other side of the table, you have a bulky, physically offensive Palafin.
As you should.
Mystic Water. Yes, honest to goodness, you never need to invest speed in.
No, you don't. He has Jet Punch. He has Jet Punch.
Yeah, it's Mystic Water, ability 0 to hero, max HP, max attack, adamant, 4 in defense, just because you throw it there. Its Terra type is water, and Fluttermane's Terra type is fairy because you need the offensive typing.
Yeah, you just make him go water, and then you hope your opponent has a Pelipper, and then you just go papa.
Yep.
And
Jet Punch, Wave Crash, Haze, and Protect. That is all you need on a Palafin most of the time.
Every time I see Palafin, I think back to Shamu and I's madness when we were trying to figure out how the heck to evolve it.
I was there.
Before we knew. You were there for at least part of our descent.
You need a pal.
Do you need to fight a Scovillain? Do you need to stand in the cutout? Like,
do you need to stand in the
It was so funny.
I'm glad there were no Runa Regress evolutions, okay?
Right?
This is so much better than a Runa Regress evolution. This is more on par with a Malamar.
You have to stand in the full moon on a Tuesday.
You must take exactly 52 damage, and then you walk through this arch. No, not that arch. This arch. And then
big Nintendo. My dad works at Nintendo / Playground vibes from the whole Runa Regress.
Runa Regress was bad. I hate evolution methods like that because how are you ever expected to figure it out?
Hold down B.
It would be different if there were more NPCs that were telling you how to do it, but
right, yeah. We have Google though.
Yeah, there was no hints.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've got the backbone of the team. We have Among Us holding a Rocky helmet. Its ability is Regenerator, and its Terra type is Steel because it's good to have resistance palette. EVs are 236 HP, 156 defense, 4 special attack is leftover, 108 special defense, and 4 speed because why not? With a bold nature. Moveset of Spore, of course. Rage Powder, of course. Pollen Puff for the aforementioned Keep Ting Lu Alive strategy. And Protect because this is VGC. That is our Amoongus that we have copied. Hooray.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nope, pretty standard. Steel is not a bad Terra. I've seen water. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the Steel will evolve depending on... It just depends on whether Fluttermane's going to be the big thing going forward, or is it going to be Chiyu or whatnot. It just kind of depends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it needs to be to not die to the special attackers is what
it's notable that it's cool with the Steel type now with our small change that we've made to the Ting Lu with the Fisher. Because it's not hit by the earthquake.
Yeah, because earthquake next to this or your other Pokemon does not seem like great ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, as the sort of backbone but also sort of monster, we have King Gambit holding black glasses as its item. Its ability is Defiant because that's the better of the two for VGC. And Terra type is, of course, Dark. EVs are 252 HP, 252 attack, and 4 special defense with an adamant nature for maximizing that attack and bulkiness. And moveset is Swords Dance, Kowtow Cleave, Sucker Punch for yet more priority, and Protect. Pretty good King Gambit, just pure Dark. Dark is good coverage, other than, the ruins. But
you trick them into Terra typing
by now.
You trick them. You just trick them.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a fun team. I absolutely recommend you go play it. I'm super happy we found a top 4 from Luca Tregulu. Yeah, I'm going to mispronounce that horribly. But I'm super happy we got a team with spreads so that we can learn a little bit more and figure out what's going on.
To see the spreads here.
So, this team will definitely be on the Patreon in shiny form. So definitely make sure you join if you're interested in that. Also, we're going to be doing on Patreon on April 28th, I believe we're going to have a cool like meetup night. I think we're going to play Jackbox with just the patrons. Ooh. So yeah. $5 and up. So make sure you join it if you're interested in that. Up until then though, guys, we're going to kick it on over to the mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails! Mail!
Welcome to the mailbag. The mailbag's the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and let us know what you think about the topic. Last week we asked you guys, or not last week, but 2 weeks ago, we asked you how you felt about the end of the anime. I was very emotional about it myself, so I'm looking to see what you guys have to say. Of course, this segment is always brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Toros, the energy drink that gives you hooves.
Hooves.
And as always, we'll give out the Green Toros badge to whoever we deem worthy, whether that is you started a conversation, you made a funny haha, or we just like you that day. I don't know. There's really no rhyme or reason to how the Green Toros badge works. It just does. All right, so our first email is going to come to you from Atomic Pandemonium, and I believe Sharkfinnagen has this one.
Hi, Puckle Crew. I've never written in before, but I figured what better time than on a topic that I have great many opinions on. A small comment, from a practical standpoint, Ash really should have worn his new shoes around town to break them in before he condemned himself to wearing them all day, every day.
Right?
I do see the symbolism in the new shoes, both for Ash and for the anime. For Ash, it's simple as new shoes, new adventure. For the anime, it falls into what you said about wearing out the possibilities with Ash and needing a fresh start. I also see a lot of parallelism in this episode, including the shoes. I remember in the early series, he used to get a new outfit at the start of each new region, so the shoes pay a nice homage to that, while also tying in his old hat logo. The other parallels, both successful and failed. I appreciate the parallel you pointed out at the start of the final arc, where Ash and Pikachu were wondrously aiming around. To be honest, though, I do see the lack of Ho-Oh as a failed parallel. They should have brought Ho-Oh in to bookend the series, to the point about making the ending timeless. Since Ho-Oh flew over before the start of several other journeys, why would it be flying by ruin a timelessness now? It happened enough to not inherently represent an ending, but would also tie things up with a nice bit of symmetry.
My only comment about that is that they already kind of played out that part. Like there was a nice arc with Ash meeting Ho-Oh in Johto. And then like at the end of Johto, because like the first 5 seasons are kind of like one continuous block of story. Mm-hmm. At the end of Johto, like Ho-Oh flies towards Hoenn and he's like, maybe I'll go to Hoenn. Yeah. So if they would have done it again, it would have felt like another reuse of the trope. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like I have to go back and see that. I didn't remember that offhand, and it just maybe that there's been so long that I don't.
I only remember things very clearly about the first 5 seasons, and then after that, it's very choppy.
Mm-hmm. Also, if they weren't going to bring Ho-Oh back, they shouldn't have had a Rainbow. Rainbows are rather strongly tied to O, and if Rainbow hadn't been there, I might have minded Ho-Oh's non-presencelessness. The Rainbow really only serves to emphasize that Ho didn't come. Which, I think, like, if you can't, like, given that, knowing that they did go have Ash meet Ho, then yeah, it makes sense that at least the Rainbow was there, just to kind of give you that sort of parallel, but yeah, maybe they could have thrown something in there, I don't know. But yeah, I also like the idea you had on paralleling the start of the new anime with the start of the old. It would be absolutely perfect to see Ash's battle with Leon from a TV screen, like Ash saw the game opening from one.
I'm telling you, that would be the perfect start. That would be the perfect start.
Yeah, will the writers see it that way? I can only hope.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't. I did like seeing Pidgeot. It's been so long since he left that it was really good to see him again. I would note that it is implied by the credits in the last episode of Journeys that Ash did briefly meet Butterfree again. You mentioned Squirtle, but didn't mention him. Ash did see him, even if it was only a credits scene. I thought they had a whole episode with it, but I don't know.
They didn't. There was like another Caterpie. It was very confusing.
Oh, okay.
We had hoped, like, there were a lot of, like, pre-shots before the series came out that he was going to see Butterfree, and I'm kind of disappointed he didn't.
Yeah.
Like, I'm upset that he didn't see Butterfree, and I'm upset he didn't go see Primeape. Like, those are the only things I'm kind of upset about.
What about a Haunter?
Haunter, I'm not as worried about, because Haunter, he's just like, I'm giving you to Sabrina.
That's
like,
fair.
Done.
Haunter he'll find when he's dead again.
I don't know what the Japanese was for Primeape, but in the English it was, oh, keep training, and then, like, you'll get stronger, and I'll come back for you, right?
Yeah.
But maybe the Japanese was like, I'm giving it to these guys so you can become better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Ash had some cool Pokemon, and he just gives them away.
Mm-hmm. The last episode was simultaneously exactly what it needed to be, while also managing to feel a bit empty. In the first half of the episode, I was left wondering what was happening, because the idea of Ash ever being happy just hanging out with Pallet Town forever was ridiculous. Having Ash and Pikachu head out was very anticlimactic, but it was also the only thing that could possibly have happened. Anything else, it would have felt very out of character for Ash. It was the right thing for his character, even if it wasn't the grand ending that my nostalgia might have hoped for. In some ways, the same is true for Ash's presence as the main character in the anime entirely. I hate to see Ash go, because I grew up with him as the lead character of the anime. I cannot remember a time where I didn't watch Ash's adventures, but at the same time, Ash became the champion of champions. He couldn't have climbed any higher. While Ash as a character will continue the journey and adventure from a narrative viewpoint, his journey would have felt trite and inconsequential. With Ash as the lead, there's nowhere else for the series to go. As much as I might miss him, it was time for it to move on. On a personal level, the timing is eerily perfect as it could be. At the same time Ash heads out for his new journey, I head off for college and a new chapter of my own life. At the same time,
Ash is older than them.
Yeah. At the same time, I send Ash off to a new adventures. My parents send me off the same. In some ways, I think I feel the same about both. Thanks for listening. Atomic Pandemonium.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know. Like I definitely feel a little bit like we're losing a friend, but he'll be back. He'll be back.
Oh yeah,
we'll see him one day.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they kill him off. Like there's gonna be a Pokemon movie or something.
You'll catch him later.
Thanks, Seth. Thanks, Seth. All right, we've got this next email from The Real Thintros. Hi again, Puckle Crew. The Real Thintros here. I rambled on too long in my last email, but I hope to make this one more concise. The host on the last episode summed up my feelings pretty well. That's it. Thanks. Bye. No, but I did have feelings about Ash's last episode. How could I not? This little kid with a love for Pokemon woke up late one day and started an adventure that really saw him become the very best. Like I said in my last email, he might not get the title of Pokemon Master, but he's still out there now, taking that next step, and that's really all it means anyway. I loved how they gave everyone a little bit of a send-off. Even Gary Oak turned up. A rival is there to keep you on your toes and push you to your best. Just when Ash might have let his drive go, Gary gives him that, but are you there yet? Then keep going attitude. He didn't say smell you later, but he might as well have. I do miss rivals that are a little bit mean. I do miss these so much, though. Gladion's like the closest thing we got in the recent history.
Well, there might be a new one in this new anime.
In the anime, yeah, but not in the games.
True.
I loved how Ash went to see the new starters to get picked by new trainers. Imagine a young kid turning up at Oak's lab for their first day as a trainer, and the actual world champion is there, grinning like a fool to see you off. I can't.
That's actually...
It happened in Galar. While Ash and Pikachu were caught in the storm, there's a moment when Ash turns it to Pikachu and says, "It'll be over soon," and that's when it really hit me. That's true. It was, like, really crazy. That last episode was just, like... It was a lot. It was a lot, man. I was hoping that, like, that last episode would have been all 11 episodes, but I understand that it couldn't be. When Ash threw that stick in the air and it's spinning, I genuinely thought they might end the episode there, leaving us hanging, just imagining which direction they took. Could have been a pretty cinematic way to end things, but I do like what we got too. Anyway, I haven't gotten many people IRL that really follow Pokemon like I do, so I can't talk with anyone about this. Listening to the pod last week felt really good. Thank you for that. Even writing this letter was surprisingly cathartic. Thanks again, and keep it up, The Real Thintros. Yeah, it was actually like, I don't know. I had feelings that I didn't think I could feel about the anime. I'm going to be honest, man. I don't know. It's just weird because, like, it's just somebody that's been there, like, your whole life, right? And you've watched him grow as you grow. right? Like Ash, like his first couple of seasons was pretty incompetent, and then you see him make like milestones like throughout his life while you're making milestones, and maybe you're not watching the show actively, but like you're aware of them as a Pokemon fan, right? You're at least aware of his milestones.
I can speak for that front, yes.
Yes, you're at least like aware that like, oh man, he got this in this tournament. He did this in this tournament, right? Or he caught this Pokemon, etc., etc.
Yeah.
As that happens, you're just like, oh man, you're just like, I'm making strides in my life too, right? And it's like losing a friend after a while. And it feels weird. It feels weird. To be fair, there aren't a lot of characters that have gone on like 26 years.
Yeah.
And then leave and have no, like, nobody doesn't feel anything after 27 years of something happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that checks out. This all checks out. So our feelings are valid. That's all I'm going to throw out there and say.
Mm-hmm.
All of our feelings are valid. All right. Well, thank you for that, Real Thin Tros. And then we've got one last email that Seth insists that we read.
Yes. And it is important to know who it is from before I continue.
You go ahead.
This email is from Samsung Smart Fridge, and I will begin, assuming the question is the same since there was a week skipped. I haven't played Scarlet and Violet since I lack the hardware to run those games, so I can't tell you how fun they would be, but they must be good since someone is using me to write an email about them. Although I can share what my favorite Pokemon are. In order, I'd say it's this. Again, I remind you, this is written by Samsung Smart Fridge. Number 1, Rotom Frost. Number 2, Frigibax. And number 3, Rayquaza. Keep up the good work with the podcast and stay cool. Samsung Smart Fridge.
Thanks, Seth. Thanks for reading that.
Thank you.
Thanks for sending us that email, Trev. All right. So, who do we want to give the Green Taurus badge to?
You know my vote.
Who is your vote?
The fridge.
That does not count.
The fridge.
The fridge does not get it.
I'm like an Atomic Pandemoniums.
Yeah.
I think Atomic Pandemonium is where I'm going as well. So you can still vote for the fridge, Seth, but it doesn't count.
Consider my vote cast.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, Atomic Pandemonium, we'll get you that badge. Next week, if you want to talk, send us an email. Let us know what you feel about VGC/TCG and what you guys want to know more about there. All right, and if you want to keep up with us throughout the week, the best way to do so is come to our Discord at puclpodcast.com. You can also follow us over on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, you can go ahead and follow us on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/puclpodcast. I should be streaming on Wednesday this week. I'm trying to get it set up for Wednesdays because I was going to do Tuesdays originally, but then, catch this, I forgot I'm joining a summer bowling league. That's on Tuesday nights.
Oh, fun.
Oh.
Yeah. So I can't do that. So we're going to switch to Wednesdays because the bowling league starts in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it'll be a good time. They're going to let me bowl again.
Yay.
It's going to be, yay, back to the grind. Too many hobbies. Let's stop. Of course, you can always join a Patreon to help support the show at patreon.com/puclpodcast, where you can get a bunch of rewards. But yeah, that's usually it. That's all the things. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here, I guess, because here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, I've been Trainer Thatch.
I've been Seth Vilo.
And I've been Sharkfinnagen.
Like I said, in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.